And we're looking at fields and features and sunspots and coronal holes and more here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. We're starting out with a geospace magnetosphere movie. This will be the last 4 hours of magnetohydrodynamic pressure modeled by the Space Weather Modeling Framework out to about 12 Earth diameters. We've seen a slight subsiding of the coronal hole high-speed stream. We'll show you the specifics on that momentarily, as well as some amazing close-ups of Sunspot 2957, the new exciting region on the Sun, which has already produced a C-class flare. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. We showed you Earth's magnetic moment from space. Here's Earth's magnetic moment on the ground. Ground magnetic perturbations expressed as geospace delta B changes to Earth's B field expressed in nanotesla magnetic flux density. And if that plays all the way through, that should be 4 hours of data, assuming all is going according to plan. By the way, we put up some interesting anomaly videos from our security camera just last night. Make sure you check those out. youtube.com/smashomash/videos should show you that. Next, the magnetic fields as measured by the GOES 16 and GOES 17 for the past 3 days. There you go, fairly smooth readings on those. And let's take a look at the heliospheric current sheet next via the top view ecliptic plane field plot. Top view ecliptic plane field plot. Try to say that fast 5 times. Part of the National Sunspot Observatory. And yeah, Earth remains in a South Pole-oriented current sheet, shown there in red. Nothing too surprising happening there. How about the line of sight view along with the solar magnetogram? Well, we've got it. There you go. And we're ramping up to see quite an active solar cycle here. So we've got some trans-equatorial South Pole-oriented coronal holes showing up here in red, moving right into the Earth-facing zone there. We can expect a high-speed wind stream from those in about 3 days. And here's a 193 angstroms imagery from the SDO. Pretty well-defined coronal holes there. They're quite earthly oriented at the moment as we approach the spring equinox. Remember, folks, March is the second most geomagnetically active month. Next, looking at the likelihood of solar flares as we move into sunspots, and we've got quite a high probability of solar flares happening here as a result of Sunspot 2957. I think we're going to see a new sunspot named out here as well. I think that's a new group. That'll be known as 2959 if it gets a name. The rest of these groups have been largely stable over the past 24. Let's look at some close-ups here after we look at the 1700 angstroms. There you can see this one has rapidly grown and produced a rather long-duration C-class flare. Here's a close-up of that. Sunspot 2957. The new most interesting region on the closest star. Here's a composite, 304 angstroms added here, ionized helium. And here's 131 angstroms, one of the many spectra of ionized iron. One of the many species of ultraviolet light. I shouldn't say species of ultraviolet light, species of iron emitting ultraviolet light in the solar corona. So here you can see this rather long duration C-class flare here. Peak flux was around 9:30 this morning on March 2nd. It did not produce any relativistic particles that made it to Earth, at least not yet. And here's a real-time solar wind. We see a subsiding here of the solar wind speed. So now current speeds are about 483 kilometers per second. Solar wind density about 8.3 protons per cubic centimeter. The rest of those are rather unremarkable. KP index is at 2. And for you new viewers, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing we exist. The KP index is a measurement of global geomagnetism. Next, looking at a diagram of the solar system, and we've got Mercury and Saturn nearly overlapping in the morning sky. If you're up before dawn, you may be able to see that in the east. We'll be able to show it to you on the LASCO C3 in a moment. First, a forecast. Here's where things will be in a week. Happy new moon to all of you reverse werewolves. Next, we're on in-the-sky.org to show you this star chart. You can see Saturn and Mercury there, quite close to each other near the ecliptic plane. That's the path the sun will take across the sky, that yellow line. The blue line is the galactic plane of the Milky Way. And here's the view from the LASCO C3 and the stereo A Core 2 coronagraph. LASCO C3 here on the right, stereo A here on the left. And I believe that's Saturn right there. Correct me if I'm incorrect, folks. We don't have any coronal mass ejections since yesterday's video. We documented a decent one yesterday. It's not earthly directed, but we figured we would show it anyway to show that the coast is largely clear out there, although there is some coronal hole high-speed plasma headed our way. Thanks for tuning in to the Fields and Features segment of our daily space weather videos. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-a-Mash, signing off from the Smash News Network. Least busted name in news.